Hello, Solflare Lightning, the new main box has just been released, and there is one deck that you are going to be seeing quite a lot of. A lot of people have been speculating that this is the best main box to ever be released in Duel Links, and I've played a couple of ranked duels and have already seen just kind of insanity going on, and I can tell you that that will continue to be the case. So the deck that I'm showing off here, and I'm going to consider this more of a deck preview than a deck review, that really because I haven't had a chance to play too much with it, got a handful of duels in, gotten the flow, and understand the different pieces here. Um, but before I jump into the kind of specific cards here, I do want to say that this deck is not fully optimized, and that people are going to be playing this deck in all sorts of wild ways. I've seen 30 card deck combinations, I've seen 20 card, I've seen everything between, and different ways of going about it from A to Z. So really with the takeaway from this video, I want it to be like what the main core of the deck is, and just understanding that rather than like take this deck list, go play it, and think this is the perfect one, because that just isn't going to be the case immediately. I have done really well with this one, but again, I can't guarantee that this is going to be ultimately, the most optimized version that people play with. But without further ado, I want to jump in. So this is obviously Orcust, is kind of the theme of the deck here. And Ding, I'm going to call him Ding here, is going to be the main monster that we're getting out in the field. Exceeds monster level 8 with 2 generic materials, meaning any level 8 monsters can bring him out. So that could be 2 blue eyes, for example, but generally not the way that people are going to go about it. Because what you can do is just overlay him onto any link monster that's Orcust, so which we have quite a few of those within the main box that came out. So we have 2 of them in the deck right now, but really all we have to do is now get out Galatea, which all is going to require is 2 effect monsters, including an Orcust monster. We have a bunch of those in the deck, so pretty simple to do. And we have a couple of Knightmare monsters. We have Unicorn and Phoenix. Kind of the nice to haves, and same thing here with the Link 3 version. More of a nice to have, because really after we get that Link 2 out, we can go to Ding, which is kind of the goal there. And the reason Ding is so powerful, when he's brought out, you can destroy one. You can either destroy one card your opponent has in the field, or add 1 banish card as material for more backup. And then, if a card you destroy would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just detach 1 material from this card instead. So a lot of protection kind of built into that. Now the deck kind of cycles through very, very nicely. So we have a lot of the Orcust monsters through 2 Harp Horrors. We have Orcust Knightmare, Cymbal Skeleton, we have World Legacy World Wand, and Orcust Brass Bombard, said it a little too quickly there. And all of them have graveyard effects, so it benefits you to get them to the graveyard. You can generally banish them and bring either a monster out from the deck or the graveyard, something like that in your hand. But just a lot of kind of flow through that idea. Now the other monster that we have here, we have 3 of the Scrap Recyclers, and this is really a core piece that makes everything work nicely. Because when you normal special the card, you can send a machine type monster from your deck to your graveyard. So any of the Orcust monsters, and now when you have that Orcust monster in your graveyard, you can banish it, special summon something, and now I have 2 monsters on the field, including an Orcust, which can allow me to bring out Galatea. You see how it goes. We automatically then can get to Ding, and it flows very nicely, but we have protection in the form of a couple warning points here. We have 3 evacs, which evac did come out in the main box as well, so a little more accessible for everyone, but an option is you could obviously evac Ding, bring him back to the extra deck, and summon him again to use his effect to destroy a monster. So a little bit of flexibility. I know typically we don't evac our own monsters, but there are occasions where it is the right move to make and very helpful. We have an MST, Forbidden Lance, and a Cosmic Cyclone as well. So a little bit more protection, but in addition, like there's effects, so obviously with Ding, we can bring a banished monster in as material. We have effects where we can bring banished monsters and shuffle them back in the deck. There's a lot of really good flow within this deck to just keep it alive, in addition to being able to shuffle through quickly and get to the core of what we want. It is pretty deep, like we can continually keep making plays and going deeper and deeper there, so the extra deck monsters have additional effects to just make the deck more powerful, but most of the play is going to really circle around Ding and those type of abilities. That being said, again, there are going to be a lot of different ways that this deck is played. This can, we're going to see hybrid versions of this, I'm sure, and combining those things, so that should be super interesting. And the last thing I'll mention quickly is I've seen a lot of different skills used. So I have Draw Sense Earth, a lot of that revolving around Scrap Recycler, which is, again, the guaranteed way that we can get a Orcust monster onto the field and start kind of our chain for getting Ding out. But I've seen people play with Tie That Binds if 3 effects, like any different skill right now seems to be okay. A lot of it is just evaluating what works best for your deck and specifically how you've built it. But I can say in the big picture, I think this is either a main box that you're going to hate or love and is going to shape a lot of the meta today. Would not be surprised to see optimized versions of this deck make their way into tier 2 and tier 1. Um, so a lot of things going to be moving here, so I wanted to do my best to get this deck preview out quickly. Let me know what you think. Is this something you've already fooled around with, something that you're going to avoid, something you like, dislike, or anything between? Happy to entertain conversation in the comment section below. So enjoy, and let's see how this deck plays out in the meta.